Hello and welcome to SOVL. SOVL is a turn-based strategy game which pitches two armies against one another. So they're kind of medieval Renaissance style armies. So you get your sword and shield guys, your arrows and crossbows and handgunners in the back, but then it also cuts in some fantastical elements. So your normal armies, but then there's a unit of trolls and a giant and a wizard throwing fireballs milling around. If you have any familiarity with Warhammer Fantasy Battles, you'll be right at home. So either the tabletop or the Total War Warhammer games, you'll pick it up very quickly, it'll be very clear. If not, it's relatively straightforward. You understand the gist quite swiftly. So as you've seen from the title and thumbnail, we'll be playing as the Goatmen Raiders, or Beastmen, quote unquote. I'm using air fingers trademark here. So a fast, hard-hitting army with kind of brutes. They're not very subtle. There's not a lot of ranged things. They get to the enemy as fast as possible and pound them into the dirt. So no, we pick a character. So ordinarily you get things like a combat lord and a melee lord. We'll be playing as the Goatmen Shaman, which is a bit weird in that he's a caster, but as we're about to see when we get into our first battle, it's still not really the kind of traditional use of magic. He's very direct in approach. We're playing on difficulty 6, so as we go through, you can increase your difficulties as you go. Difficulty 5 is the crucial one, which allows enemies to rally. So when you break an enemy regiment, they have an opportunity to try and return to combat. That's crucial, and we'll go over how that works when we get into the actual game itself. Otherwise, that's how we'll be running it. We come to the most important choice we'll make throughout the campaign, our starting 2 units. Now we know that the Shaman comes with a unit of infantry to begin, so we don't want to duplicate. We've already got the kind of holding infantry covered, so we'll go with either the Feral Hounds or the Centaurs. Now, of those two, the Centaurs are generally a bit more powerful, but in exchange the Feral Hounds come with 2 units. So the Hounds are incredibly quick, I think maybe as quick or faster than the Centaurs, and they're quite hard hitting, but they're remarkably fragile as a recompense, so we're going to have to use them very carefully, but I'm happy to go with the Hounds. For our second unit, I'm going to play with the Feral Giant. We've got an infantry holding unit, two fast flanking units, so I want something monstrous and big to serve as basically a tank, soak a lot of damage. The Ibex Warriors could do that, they kind of serve the same purpose, but Feral Giant's just more fun. The Harpies are in the same niche as the Feral Hounds, are already taking their fast, get to the back and hit things, so it's already covered. So Feral Giant it is. Here's our army. So here's the campaign map that we'll be playing through. I'll explain the objectives. So we're going to start on the left and make our way through over to the right and reach this is the Act 1 boss. There's another act after this, we get to Act 2. And as we go through, move through these stopping points. So the cross swords are battles in which our army will face an enemy army. In exchange, if you win, you get a flat sum of gold, and then you can take either some healing or extra gold on all of your guys. Why do we want gold? Well, we can spend gold in these armories. And these are shops in which you can purchase new units or upgrade the ones you already have. So you want to generate as much gold as possible to improve your army's strength. Otherwise, you get elite battles, these swords down, which are regular battles but harder in exchange for more gold. Question mark dice, random events. Difficult to describe what they do in advance. They'll be any one of many disparate things. So a holy lake that will bestow a blessing, a forgotten tomb that will potentially bequeath treasure if you risk delving into it, or a mercenary company that you can hire in exchange for a percentage of your earnings, things like that. So we'll go through a couple of them as we go throughout the campaign. We can kind of show off what they do. And otherwise, it's the campsites are the last one, these tents. Now, instead of fights, you can go to a campsite where everyone in your army will immediately receive a round of healing, and you're given a choice between either a second round of healing or point of experience. You get experience in fights, but you can potentially get them here as well. Typically, you want to avoid campsites unless you're forced to go to them, because they don't generate gold. And the more gold you generate, the easier the campaign will be, because you can buy more units, make them stronger, which makes it easier to generate more gold. You get a snowball effect kind of going where you want as much gold as possible. So only to go to a campsite if you're getting your teeth horribly kicked in and you need a respite for your army. So with that in mind, our objective is to get through to the boss while taking as many fights as possible for consistency. Now if we have a look, it's going to be 2 fights and then a random event as we get to this stage, so it's after this that matters. We can go up here and take a regular fight, 2 elites, but then we get stuck having to go through a campsite, which is unfortunate, and a random event. If we come down here, we can take a fight. We get 1 elite here, and then a campsite, and it's all, oh, this is terrible because you get stuck doing it. I think if we come down here, we'll skip the elite, but then we get fight, 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 fight. So I think that's the most consistent path, and get a couple of random events in it to spice things up as well. You have a look at your army view in advance. We're playing on the beta, which allows us to see the fancy 3D models, which is nice. If you want to access the beta, simply right-click on SOVL in your Steam library, go to properties, there's a beta tab, and then select the open test beta. A little download will happen and you get all of your fancy new things. SOVL incidentally is free to play on Steam, or at least the beginning 5 factions are. So if you'd like to see the video and think, I'd like to give it a try, you can jump in at any time, there's nothing stopping you. Otherwise, that's everything we need to know. We'll go into our first battle. Against Goatmen Raiders. Okay, so the entirety of the game is predicated upon the roll of 6-sided dice. So I rolled a dice, my opponent rolled a dice. We did this to determine who gets to go first. So I rolled a 4, they rolled a 1. I get to go first. By going first, it means I get to move one of my units first, and then they move theirs. We don't activate a whole army and they activate a whole army. We alternate the moving of regiments. So I get the first one, which is nice. Now there'll be a unit of archers tucked away somewhere back there, likely on this side. So what I'll do is I'm going to put my feral giant on this side and a bit further forward. A trick that you can use to kind of manipulate the enemy AI range stuff is that they'll always target the closest enemy unit. So if I put the feral giant a bit in front of my hounds, then the giant's the target, which is great because it's tough enough to chin whatever damage they can throw at it. Otherwise, the mongrel pack has a unique ability to deploy further forward, so I can put you a bit further forward, and the hounds here to make sure they're also not the target. I specifically don't want the hounds to be shot, they're very fragile. A little trick, just in case it's not very well advertised, if you hold the shift key while you're deploying things, you can twist units around and do this, if for some reason you wanted to ease your flank, but I'm happy just to do this for now. Okay, so we're up against 15 goblins, and 12 goblin archers. So of course what we're going to do is we're going to run our feral giant straight at them. We can't quite reach them this turn, it'll be next turn, which is fine. In fact, if I'm a bit clever, if I can wait until the archers move, then they should in theory move close enough for me to reach them in one turn. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to use other units and just kind of stall out the turn a bit until I get what I want. So we'll move our hounds over here. We've got enough units such that we outnumber them to the point they're not going to be able to stop us from baiting them out, so I'm just going to move this to here. Forward they come. I'm going to not move the hounds forward, because if I did, they would likely get shot. So forward they come, then they shoot my giant. So what's happening is they get 12 shots with their bows. They hit on 5+ because of their skill. I'll explain how that works later. And then they rolled their 12 dice, so any 5+, meaning 5s or 6s are successes. 5, 5, 5 to get 3 hits. And then I get a range save to try and save the damage coming in. So I'm defense 6, the power of the enemy shot is 3, because defense is 3 or more greater than the enemy power, I get to save on a 2+, meaning anything but a roll of a 1 is a successful save. It represents the defense being massively superior to the oncoming power. So I roll 1/1, so I do take 1 wound. Oh well. And now I can come far enough forward to reach them in 1 turn. Okay, so we come to the end of the combat phase and wrap to the charge phase. I'm going to declare a charge on this goblin shortbow unit because not allowing it to shoot me is obviously a good idea. Forward come this goblin mob. Now I've got a lot of superiority over them in terms of my kind of flexibility. I've got more units and they're a lot faster, so I'm going to set up some really advantageous charges for myself. You can get to there and then you can come around here. What I'm really kind of wangling for is I can do side charges no problem, but I'm hopeful to get rear charges, which would be the real goal. So you can get to there, and then you can move this way and get out of the way. No charges this turn, we'll get better ones next turn. We come to our first ever combat. Now, when you get into combats, you see we can have a look at the stats of units now. So we have a stat line, we have skill, power, defense, attacks, wounds, discipline. All of these are relevant when we engage in combat, so there's no turns or anything, everybody will always get to do all of their attacks, so whoever gets to go first, don't worry, we get to fight with everyone. So in this case our feral giant is rolling first, Ironhide here. He gets 5 attacks against the enemy skill, so to determine the hit roll, it says 4+ to hit there, you compare your skill against the enemy skill. So you each have 3 skills, so have equal skills, so in this case we have a 4+ chance to hit, or in other words, a 4, 5 or 6 result when you roll a 6-sided dice counts as a success. So that represents the skill being exactly equal, you have an exactly 50-50 chance of landing a hit. We get 1 hit, which is unfortunate. And then I'll explain what that means in a moment. So the enemy gets to roll, so after I get my hit, the enemy then gets to roll to save. Now I'm power 7 on the charge, because I went up from 6, and then claws add me 1 whenever I get a charge bonus, so 6 up to 7. 7 is 5 over their defense of 2. You only need to be 3 or more over the enemy defense to force them to save on a 6+. In other words, because the power is so much greater than the enemy defense, only the roll of a 6 will count as a successful save. They didn't roll a 6, so one of those poor goblin shortbows got squashed. Then they get to hit me back with 12 attacks. They hit, again, it's equal skill, so they hit on 4+. They hit 4 times, and then I get my save. Power 3 against defense 6. Again, that's 3 or more defense than power. I get to save on a 2+, or anything but a 1. I'm fine. I don't roll any 1s. I win combat, and the enemy hold. So if you lose a combat, you're forced to take a break test. So that's where discipline comes in. So you take your discipline, add how many ranks you have, which is 2, so it's 7, and then subtract how much you lost the combat by. Well, they took 1 and I took none, so they lost by 1. So 6 minus 1 is 7. They have to roll a 6 or less on 2 dice to stay in combat, and they did. So they hold. No charges here. We'll do that in a moment. They've turned to face this unit, which is a bit of a mistake because it gives this dire wolf pack here, or feral hounds, a free and easy shot straight into their back. They've turned into an annoying direction. I thought they would do that. I'm not going to be able to quite squeeze around them here. Fine. Okay, I'm going to spend the turn out positioning them again. Come around here. Make sure we don't get stuck on the unit. Like so. Eventually we'll be able to get what I want and hit them in the back. So the hounds are good, but they're very squishy, so you need to be quite ginger with the way you use them. And then you can come up here and just, I don't know, you can hit this one on the side. So he can see me, so the enemy will be able to declare a charge against me, but I'm not worried about that, and I'll show you why in a moment. I'm going to leave it there. Back to this combat again. So again, exactly the same, 5 attacks, hitting on 4s, better this time, a few more hits, and I've dropped a power, but I'm still 3 or more over there, so they still save on 6+. I take no damage, they take 1 again, they roll another discipline check, and they fail. So now, because the enemy can see me, they can clearly draw line of sight. I can flee the unit if I want, but I'm not going to do that because I've gotten into the rear arc of the enemy unit. If you hover your mouse over an enemy, you can see whatever their arcs are, I think. Oh, well, not in the charge phase. Oh, maybe I can. Not here. Yeah, if I just do it here. So you can see they have a front, 2 flanks, and a rear. Now, if you end up charging into an enemy's flank or rear, it counts as an intercept charge. Numerous benefits to doing this, but for our purposes, the most crucial one is that when you intercept an enemy unit, it cancels any of their charges. So they're not going to be able to complete my charge. They're also stuck in place, so what I can now do is I can get a flank charge with this unit. I could charge this goblin shortbow unit in the back. I'm not going to, and I'll explain why in a moment. Turn around again, which is fine. I can just ignore them. I'm still not... This unit's going to break, so eventually I'll get someone into their rear, but they've got just enough of a hassle. This is why I didn't charge the goblin shortbow unit. So a broken unit, because of the difficulty we're playing on, does have an opportunity to return to combat. They can roll another discipline check. So discipline 5 plus 2 because the ranks gets them up to 7, but they rolled an 8, which is higher than 7, so they fail. So now they run off the board. If I charged them, we would have a round of combat, but then they'd have a different discipline check when they rolled, so they might turn around and start hitting me and do more damage. But there was absolutely no cause to do so. They'll run away of their own accord, so we'll leave them alone. We'll move the giant over here, and now our Goatmen Shaman, Amguk Mossweaver here, has a special party trick that he can do whenever he gets into combat. He has the wild form ability, so affects the caster, give himself 1 more power, 1 more defense, and 2 more attacks. So you can do that twice per battle. Once you get into combat, you might as well increase your stats and just make yourself a bit more potent. Okay, so here we go. Amguk gets to fight. He has equal skill to the goblin mob, so he's still going to hit on 4+, but he's given himself 2 more attacks, so he's up to 4. So he gets 1 hit, and then he has 6 power because of wild form, so he now has 3 or more over, so that 5 isn't good enough. If I didn't use wild form, they would have got a save there, but alas, I'm too powerful now, so a goblin has been killed. Unit also gets to fight and support, killing another 3. Now, the other benefit to attacking in the side and flank is that the enemy don't get to use all of their attacks. Rather, in the flanks, they only get to use the guys who are in direct base combat with me. So there are 3 goblins touching me directly, so they get 1, 2, 3 attacks, and they missed every time, which is great. Even better is a rear charge, where if you charge them in the rear, they can't fight with anyone, so the hounds here are free to just smack into them and kill another 4 with no returning damage whatsoever. They break, of course, because that's far too much to ask. Now, I think this unit I'm going to charge because there's no real value in just leaving it there. We'll end up having to take a million years to get back into combat. Of the two, I think I would rather put in the feral hounds. I can use this to flank this unit. Get on, boys. Now they're going to come around there, which is fine. We saw that coming because I can just do this. I can move this unit to get a rear charge on the goblin mob. Excellent. And you can just sort of stand here and intimidate them. I'm not going to bother putting the feral hounds into the side because they're not going to succeed. You can charge through. If you could reach the side, I would do it, but you're a bit too slow. So stand there, you will. Here we go. So we get, with the hounds, they get 2 attacks each. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Equal skills, so still 4+ to hit. 5 hits, perfectly average. And then they rolled amazingly for their save, which is annoying. They might turn around and fight me here. They don't. Okay. Well, I was power 5 against defense 3, so they get to save on 5. So 5, 6, 5, 6. They had a fantastic save. And it's still not enough to keep them in the fight. Goblins in general have pretty poor discipline, not known for their outstanding bravery. I could do that again with the feral hounds. I'm just gonna not, because I'd rather send the giant over here to deal with it. They might run away of their own accord anyway, so why get into the combat? They fail morale, they'll leave the field on their own. Excellent. We'll leave these hounds here. Reason being is that if this goblin mob turns around, I'll then be able to hit them in the back. And you can start stomping your way over here. We'll use wild form on our Goatmen Shaman again, why not? There's no other combats, what are we saving it for? And then you're perfectly fine in your position as well. Yeah, and it's going to go again. He hits twice. If you want things to be a bit faster, you can hold the space key to speed things up a bit. So 5 hits, the mongrel pack kills 5. They can't hit back, they lose by a load, they fail around, run the field. Not remotely surprising. Now we took 1 wound on the feral giant, however single entity models always heal at least 1 wound at the end of a fight, end of a battle if they've taken any. So if you can get out of a fight on, say, a giant with only taking 1 wound, you've in essence taken 0 wounds. It's a fantastic outcome. So we got through that with no damage, which is great, because at the end of a battle you get a flat sum of gold, a point of experience for everyone, and you're given a choice between either resting units to regenerate them a bit if they're taking casualties, or generating extra loot. So for our purposes, I'd rather the loot, because gold is great, we can use it to buy more units, so thank you very much. Yeah, we're in perfect stead to go straight into the next battle. It's roaming brigands, so more archers we'll have to contend with at the back. I'm going first, which is fine, but we do need to be a bit careful with how we structure this. So we want the giants to be the one to hit that annoying archer unit. It will likely be here more often than not, so I think I'll gamble and put that over there. Just in case I'll put the dogs on this side as well, they can try and rush up there and catch it. Otherwise here, I really don't want the archers to ever target the feral hounds. They're defense 3 and they've only got 1 wound. They would do horrendous casualties if they actually get a shot. So again, I'm going to make sure that the hounds are never the primary target by putting other units sort of in front like this. Good, the archers are exactly where I thought they'd be. I can shove our feral giant straight down their throat again. Now again, I'm going to wait for the archers to move, because if I force them to go, no, that won't work this time. So unlike those goblin archers from the last battle who are armed with short bows, these archers are armed with long bows, meaning that they can hit me even from the starting position. So the X and C key give away your charge range and enemy charge range. If you hold the shift key and then use X and C, you can use the potential range of your long range stuff, of which I have none, and shift and C gives away their range. So there, I can see this is what they can see and hit. I mean, they'll likely end up hitting the Shaman unit at this point, so I might as well just run forward. I'm not going to reach them no matter what, so yeah, just get to there. Make sure I'm the primary target and not something more fragile. Let's start having the hounds move around this way so I can flank this unit of spearmen, or rather swordsmen. We are going to move in the terrain. It's a bit unfortunate. Moving into difficult terrain like this has a number of effects. The crucial one is that it halves your movement, so you'll see each tick there is 2 points. It's difficult for units to move through heavily wooded areas, understandably, so they get slowed down. They're going to shoot my feral giant and do no wounds because it's very durable. So you're going to deal with that. I'll have this unit of dogs also head up here to flank the swordsman. May as well, like so. Get around there later, and you can just push up here and stand in the way. Turn 2. There are no charges I want yet, so we'll skip. Forward they come. Now, I would like to get the feral giant into the side of this arch unit if I had discretion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it there and get it just far enough to hit them in the side. So I can see them. When determining whether or not you can declare a side charge, What matters is if the majority of your unit is in that particular arc. So you don't need to be there entirely, just the majority. So I think that's okay. I'm just going to move a bit further forward. You also have to be able to draw line of sight, which is fine in this instance because I think they're touching the woods and I can see them. I'm also going to make sure that they can still see me. The reason I'm doing that, if I move too far this way, they would then twist to see me to shoot at me, which would mean I'd be still in front arc. If I intentionally leave myself in the enemy's arc of fire, they'll stay exactly where they are, shoot me, whatever, and then I can just get my side charge later. So I think that's perfect positioning and get everything I want. They're going to shoot me again, which is fine. I might take one wound if I'm unlucky. Great, we'll just heal that. Perfect, okay. Now I can out-position this unit of swordsmen with these dogs. The other benefit of knowing is that the AI will never declare a charge with a ranged unit. So it thinks archers are a ranged unit, so yes, it could countercharge me to stop the flank, but it will choose not to do so because it's rather silly. It also means you can ignore this blue zone because these archers are never going to charge anything, so round the back we go. Same unit with this, we're going to get out of this wood and eventually get it. It's going to take me a turn or two, but you're eventually going to get trapped here. There's nothing they can do about it. I'm just going to back away with this unit for this turn then. I don't want them to be caught unnecessarily here. Now look, so we're clearly outside the blue zone, we're fine. Having more units then, the enemy allows you a lot of versatility in out-positioning them. So the hounds are fragile, but they have some kind of hidden benefits in that regard, where dancing around units that can't possibly catch them is an excellent way of resolving situations. So they've had to make a choice. They've turned to face that unit, which is terrible, because again it gives us exactly what we want. You get a rear charge here, and a flank charge here. So only 3 swordsmen get to fight, and I can easily do enough damage to break them. These dogs can just ignore all of this. They're just going to come over here, maybe get a rear charge on that unit if it's still holding on in combat. If it holds on, it will turn and face them, and then I can hit them in the back. Here we go again. Equal skill, 5 attacks in 4s. 1 hit, not an amazing performance from the feral giant, so we squash one. Then he gets hit back twice with the 2 guys. They get 1 hit, dealing no wounds, so I win by 2. That might be enough to break them. It's not. Fair enough. We have a solution for that. So we'll put you into their back. You can rear charge the swordsman, and you can side charge the swordsman. Perfect. Complete out-positioning of the enemy. Everyone's engaged in combat, so the only thing I can do is use wild form and my shaman. Amguk's going Super Saiyan. He's going to start pummeling swordsmen now. 5 attacks. 1 hit again. Amazingly, very consistent in your 1 per round there, Feral Giant. I appreciate it. And the hounds will probably do quite a bit more. Well, only 2. But that's surely enough to break them now. It is. Now, when an enemy unit breaks when it's surrounded, it won't get to run away. It just dies. So imagine if they got crushed between 2 units and surrounded and slaughtered. There was nowhere for them to run. That's a good way. If you have a big block that you want to get rid of quickly, hitting them on 2 flanks is a good solution. Amgut's going to go. Hits 3 times, which is good. His power 6 and the defense 4, so they get to save on 5s. So they kills 2. The mongrel pack hits 4 times, killing another 2. We'll take 3 swordsman hits, so 1. Doing no damage, great. And then the hounds hit fantastically. Excellent work, guys. Killing 5. That's more than enough to break them. -3. So you can get into negative numbers when you lose combat by a lot. I'll be very impressed if the enemy manages to roll -3 on 2 dice. So 1 wound on their feral giant again, which is 0, so another perfect round. And we've amassed enough experience from some of our troops to begin leveling. So the Night Fangs, Frost Claws, and Ironhide have all leveled. So let's see what that means. So when you level up, you get a choice. You can get through. You can we can take gold. So whenever I press that gold button on the side there, it's +5 extra, which is really nice. But I do use these units as a genuine damage output, so I'm going to use one of these 2 instead. Now, skill is exactly what you think it does. It improves the skill by 1 from 3 to 4, so you have an easier time hitting things, and then you get random stats. So that'll add 1 to any of these. So we need to make a quick calculation in our heads here. Is the random stat, the potential outcomes, better or worse than just taking the skill? Well, of those 6, you could just get the skill anyway, which is exactly equivalent. Power would probably be better, because it would get us to power 5 and then 6 on the charge, which is really useful at a lot of crucial breakpoints, so I think that would be good. Defense 3 to 4 has some niche value. If you get shot at or there's any power 3 stuff hitting you, you have a better save. It would probably prefer the skill, but it's not bad. An extra attack would be unbelievable. That would be attacks 3 that become an absolute blender. An extra wound would be fantastic. Having 10 wounds as opposed to 5 is a huge defense increase, so that's good. And then discipline is awful. we don't. That's what we're desperately hoping not to come up. So of those options, defense and skill are kind of equivalent to just taking skill. Power, attacks, and wounds are all just better. So we're more often than not, we'll get a better outcome than taking skill. So we'll take the random stat. Everyone will for me, please, that we don't get discipline. Cross your fingers. It's defense. Okay, one of the more lackluster ones, but could be a lot worse. This Feral Hound unit is leveled. Different options. Replenishment. Replenishment is 50% more. If you're taking a lot of damage, you can instead use that to generate 50% more guys each time. If you're playing the game in such a way you need to use that, something's going terribly wrong, so you ordinarily want to avoid that one. Veteran discipline, one more discipline. For the same reason, not great. You only need discipline if you're rolling tests after you lose a combat. You don't want to be losing combat, so again, it's a thing that only comes up if things are going really badly. So we'll take Looter. We'll generate the extra gold every turn. And then Ironhide is leveled. So Ironhide also gets skill, a random stat or discipline. We'll avoid discipline for the same reason. Is the calculation the same with Ironhide? 3 to 4, having an extra power, an extra defense, an extra attack. I'm actually going to take the skill on this occasion. Having an extra wound from 8 to 9 is kind of pants. You might get stuck with discipline. Going from power 6, which is 7 on the charge, to 8 on the charge isn't that useful. You'll be crushing most things on 6+ anyway with all your power, so that's not great. 6 to 7 has some utility, but 6 is honestly good enough for our purposes. So the only thing I'd really value is the extra attack, which is not guaranteed to come up. So yeah, I'll just take the skill. Most of the stuff we'll encounter will be skill 3, so up to 4 and hitting on 3s is massively going to improve his damage output. We are seeing he's having a lot of difficulty actually hitting things, so cross fingers, there's a bit of help there. Otherwise, we're all healthy, so gold, gold, big gold, and gold. Excellent. So we have a random event to see what that looks like. A forgotten tomb, so we can send guys in to try and pull out gold, but the risk is that anyone we send in has a potential chance to die. So you'd be incredibly foolish to send in the elite stuff, so we send in the feral giant and he comes back and dies and loses all his 8 wounds. He won't technically be dead, of course. He'll come back in the next fight with 1 wound, but that's terrible. Simultaneously, I'm not sending in the feral hounds either. They're too precious. The mongrel pack, however, the low-tier infantry, can absolutely get stuck in there and try and fish some gold and magic items out for me. I'll lose a couple of them. Fine by me. Might as well see what I can get out of it. I lose 2 in exchange for 88 gold and a spell on my shaman. I think that's an excellent trade. I value your sacrifice, dear marauders. Which is good, so that gives me a nice pile of gold as we go into the first armory, our first buy. Here's what it looks like. We can get buy units, buy upgrades for our guys. So there's a couple of things I really want. The Minotaurs are by far the best choice. They're discounted, which is fantastic, and they're an exemplary unit. Everything else is more expensive, and it also means I have enough gold left over to buy some crucial upgrades that I want. So let's take some Minotaurs. I have 198 left, so of those I could buy heavy armor from the Minotaurs immediately. I'm not going to. I'm going to prioritize this stuff. So I get Boulder Throw on the Giant to smash things, but what I really want is Putrid Stench. 100 gold, but in exchange, opponents are forced to re-roll hits in close combat. So whenever they get a successful hit on me, they have to roll it again. That's a remarkable defense increase, and I'm immediately going to buy it. That's fantastic, leaving me with 98. I would really like to buy both the Boulder Throw and Primal Fury, but I can't quite afford it, I'm afraid. So of those two, throwing rocks around and crushing guys is really nice, but I think Primal Fury is a fantastic spell. So target any friendly unit, give them +1 power, and let them re-roll their attack rolls. So a fantastic consistency increase in damage. So I would like that. I'll pick up Boulder Throw at some point. It's going to be useful, but we'll leave it on the table just for now. 53 gold left. Extra discipline and reroll damage saves isn't that useful, so we'll leave that. Do I want heavy armor on these? No, because it slows them down and I like the speed. Maybe I'll buy it later, but for now that'll do. Here's our new army, so some buffs for Amguk, and more importantly, a big burly unit of Minotaurs, the Stone Crushers. Let's see what they can do in the next battle against a bandit gang. They're going first, fine by me. Okay, so we've taken a couple injuries to the mongrel pack, that's no problem. So again, we'll use you forward as tanks. I'll put one of the hounds on the flank here. I probably want to set this up such that if I want to flank something, something can come charging into this, and then I can get the Minotaurs into their side. Simultaneously over here, I'll make sure that you can come out the side, but I want you to be a bit further forward so you're targeted first. That looks good to me. Okay, I've got heavy cavalry here, Imperial Knights, Foot Knights. Oh no, they're going to shoot my dog. Okay, this is light cav with guns, so they're going to target you. Might be about to lose some feral hounds. Yeah, they instantly shoot and kill 2 of them. This is why taking damage on these is so bad. That's a huge decrease in their potential output. Okay, I get to go first. They're going to come forward, which is fine. I can outposition them. So let's just send something into these light cav. I can't outflank them, they're too fast, so let's just suck it up and go straight into combat. Instead I have the dogs come around here. What I'm doing is I'm stalling units to force them to come forward so I can then outposition them. So I'll just have you... You've got some spells, let's throw a Shadow Bolt at something. Namely one of these Foot Knights. So they make all the saves. So you get 3 guaranteed hits at, what is it, power 4. But then their Foot Knights are quite tough. The armoured thugs there, they're defense 5. Not great damage output, but very durable. So not surprising we didn't really achieve anything there. Now we force this unit to move. The reason I wanted that unit to move is because they'll come charging forward like fools, which makes it incredibly easy for me to get the giant into their flank without them being able to intercept me, like so. And I'll begin moving the hounds this way. Don't want to touch the woods unless I have to, so let's just move back a touch, and the feral giant will move out of the way in a moment, so I can ignore that. So we'll take a head on here. Nothing I can do about it, and I'll take... So they're going to hit me, but again, because I'm flanking them, it's intercept, which cuts their charge off, which is excellent. Nothing else I want to do. No, we're not sending them into the front of these big bricks. That's an excellent way of getting my hounds killed before they come. Now you could, in theory, get a flank there. I'm going to end up having to heal this unit anyway, so taking a few more casualties is probably fine. Now I know where they've all moved. What I'm going to do is I'm going to... The good news with Minotaurs is that they have the Frenzy ability down there, so they already reroll all their attacks. Not a huge amount of point in giving them buff. I'm just deciding Primal Fury does, however, increase power, so I get them up from power 5 to power 6, which is 3 or more over the enemy defense, which would matter. However, I'm definitely going to use Primal Fury on my Feral Giant here. The reason being is that they're defense 5, so I'm defense 6, 7 on the charge, 8 with Primal Fury. So 8 is 3 or more over 5. I'm now over the threshold. I'll be reducing the save to 6+, and I get to re-roll, which is crucial because we have equal skill, so I might struggle to hit them a bit. Yeah, that's the most damage output I can increase. Otherwise, I don't particularly want to fight a big unit of Foot Knights head on. They're a bit too tough, so I could send you over here and flank that unit. I'm not going to be able to... Oh, I can get away. There you go. I can get straight into their side, which is convenient. Go for it. And then you, because they've been flanked, what I can probably do is get you up here into the flank. They can see me, but again, that's not going to matter. They're not going to be able to do anything with that because I'm going to hit them in the side. So I'm clearly majority their flank. That's good. I can execute my charge as desired. Here we go. They're hitting my Minotaurs. They do 2 wounds, which is great news for me because they have 3 wounds each. So one of the big benefits of these super heavy infantry with multiple wounds is that as long as you don't lose the whole guy, as long as you only take 1 or 2 wounds, you'll regenerate all the wounds for free at the end of combat. So we took nothing, which is great. Now we hit back, we're superior skilled, so we hit on a 3+, so 3, 4, 5 or 6. You had a 66% chance to hit, and it represents you having better odds because you've got better skill, with a re-rolling failures because of Frenzy. So any ones we fail, we'll then get to roll again, for a total of 9 of 12, and I'm power 5 against defense 3, 5+ save. I do 6 wounds, they're 2 wounds each, 3 die, they break. Not remotely surprising. Over here, our Feral Giant's going to go. So Ironhide, he's still equal skill even with the upgrade because they're Imperial Knights, they're not slouches in combat, so it still falls, but I get to reroll because of Primal Fury. Try again. 3 is better, and then I'm power 8, so I reduce their save to 6s, they still get 1. Now Putrid Stench means that they're 2 hits. They hit me twice, but then they had to reroll it. So they actually hit me 0 times. And they run straight off the field. So they're going to declare a charge against me, but absolutely not. Why would I allow you to do that? The decision I have to make is that I could send the Feral Hounds in right now, which would probably be enough to help break the unit, or I could leave it and then have the Giant come around. No, I'd rather just hit and kill them now. You'll stay on them in case they come back, and I'm just going to use you as a distraction for this unit, so don't charge in yet. I'm going to be honest, I have no idea what they're trying to do. I'm kind of lost with that one, so what I'll do is I'll move the Minotaurs up here. Just in case this unit rallies, I can hit them in the back and convince them that that wasn't a good decision. They do rally, okay, I'm going to kill them next turn. Otherwise, you can come up here. Potentially hit this unit in the back. And I'll have you swing around. I can't... Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to charge that unit in the side. Reason being is that I can't get into this terrain. So the way terrain works with line of sight is that you can see into it, as indicated by the blue, but you can't see beyond it. So when I do this, I can't, they're outside, so I can't legally declare a charge, which is unfortunate, but next turn we'll get there. Here I get my choice of either Wild Fury or Primal Fury. So if we think about it, who would benefit the most? Well, the defense 5, if I used it on the Night Fangs here, they would get to reroll their hits, which is good. So, and then it also means I go from power 4, 5 in a charge, 6 with Primal Fury, so I'll reduce their save to 5+. I could use it on my unit, which would be, again, 3s, allowing rerolls is the same. We're power 3 up to 4 in a charge, 5 with Primal Fury, which is worse. So I think the better use would actually be using it on the Hounds. It would also benefit the caster, of course, but I still think the Hounds are the better choice. So Amgut's going to go, killing 2 of them. Fantastic work. Here's I now at 4s, but re-rolling. Try again. 8, yep, 3 to 8 is fantastic. And they rolled great in saves, annoyingly. Hit me back twice, so I might be about to lose some Hounds. No, because I'm defense... Aha, there you go. Being defense 4 from that stat increase actually saved me. I saved it on a 3. I took no damage to the Hounds. Excellent. Mongrel Pack then goes. Killing another 2. Great. Just helps with combat res. 3 hits back. I might be about to lose a few. Nope, just the 1. They're durable, but they haven't got great damage output. So they lose by a load. They're surrounded. They fail combat. They break and die to a man. Recharge those light cav, show them the error of their ways, and then here I'm just going to leave it for a turn because I can probably set up a double charging if I give it a moment. What on earth are you attempting to achieve? I have no idea. It's not brilliant decision making, so who do I want to charge this? Well, I think the Feral Giant and the Hounds together would be more than enough to break it, so yeah, let's just have you kind of move out the way. I'm going to actually move you into the front of them because it's not going to bother me. Might as well throw a Shadow Bolt into them. Killing and Foot Knight, which is great. That gives me enough space to put Ironhide into their side and you into their back. And I don't know, you can sit there and offer moral support. Cheer on your friends. And it should be relatively straightforward for these Minotaurs. They always get to reroll because of Frenzy, so 10 of 12 are remarkably consistent. They're all dead. They actually did 8 wounds to the 2 guys. They killed each of them twice over. They're going to charge me, but not really because we can easily intercept them. In fact, we can intercept them twice. Smash. Woof. Now, the other benefit to engaging a unit from multiple flanks is that even if they hold in combat, they're not allowed to reform and turn and face you. They're stuck in this position forever, so they'll never be able to hit the Hounds, and they can only get 3 poultry attacks on our Feral Giant, achieving nothing. So, I mean, we're just going to skip the rest of the phase because this is only going to go one way. Goes our Giant, squashing 2. They have to reroll. So yeah, they have to reroll their hits, and I have a 2-up save. They're never going to do anything meaningful. Dogs eat another 2. They're routing this turn, so even if they hold, which they don't, the fight would be over regardless. Once this happens, battle's over at the end of the combat phase. Victory. So yeah, my poor Hound. I get 1 back, which is nice. I can make a choice between either healing or just living with 4. Amguk is leveled now, so let's see what the Shaman can do. Ooh, so we can give him an extra wound, which is very, very niche in its applicability. So the way characters work, when they're taking damage, when anything attacks their unit, it attacks the defensive properties of the unit itself, not the character. The only way his wounds would come into play is that if every single member of the Mongol pack died, and then he was the only target left, which is so they almost never come up. The exception, however, is when duels take place. If you engage an enemy unit that also has a lord in it, and your unit has a lord, they'll enter one-on-one combat, in which case their individual stat lines absolutely do matter, and you would want the extra wound. But that's rather narrow in terms of how much it's going to come up, so we'll leave that. 5% extra gold increases this number, so just imagine, so that's 66, so what, 3.3 extra gold per battle? Not great in terms of overall generation. Or Greater Fury. Primal Fury pack gives +2 instead of its usual +1. Great, why not have a more powerful spell? His accompanying Mongol pack also leveled. They can get their skill, they can get a random stat or replenishment. We'll leave replenishment, so it's a choice between these 2 again. Skill would be fine, power would be excellent, defense would be great on this one, making the defense 5. Extra attacks would be unbelievable, extra wounds would be unbelievable. Discipline's terrible. So 5 of 6 of those are amazing and 1 is terrible, so we'll try this again. No discipline, no whammy. Defense 5, great, they're more of a tank. Okay, now for healing, you're full HP, you're full HP, you're full HP. I'm willing to try and get by with 4 or 5, so I'll take the extra gold. And the Mongol pack is more just a support mechanism for Amguk, so yeah, more cash please. Now here, we'd obviously like the elite, that would be nice, but then we get stuck on a terrible path, in which case we're not taking any fights, so taking 3 battles here is far better in terms of consistent gold generation, so down the bottom we go. Against an elf patrol. I'm going first, okay. Okay, so how do I want to do this now? Well, probably elf patrols are, what, a big unit of heavy cavalry, a small unit of light cav, and a chariot. So we want to get some nice flanks. One of them will be here and probably 2 over there, how the AI likes to deploy. So I'll put you right on the side here to be a bit of a distraction. And I want to flank with the Minotaurs and the Giant if I had discretion. So maybe do this and use you as a bit of a distraction. And you can be a distraction over here. Put them in a position where they can run away if they need to. Okay, there you go. So the light cav are there and chariot and heavy cav are there. I'm going first, which is fine because I'll just put these forward. Before they come, they made it quite easy for me to get where I want there. I'm just going to stall them though because I want to see where that chariot winds up, because obviously the temptation is to just beeline straight over and hit them there, which would be nice, but I can't guarantee it will work, I'm afraid. What I might do instead, actually, I might just shove the Giant towards them so they target it rather than my hounds. They still target my hounds, you cretins. Oh, I got away with it though, because we're defense 4, again, defense 4 being clutch, I'm actually saving a lot of damage I'd otherwise take. And they've given my Feral Giant a uncontested flank charge for free. All to try and scrape a few hounds off. Well, serves you right, Elf Reavers. You can come this way instead and start helping with these flanks and the like. Good, I know where they've landed, which is in a really awkward spot because they're going to be able to hit my poor Mongol pack, so I'm going to have to do something about that. I'm going to have you come forward and intercept them. No problem, you can hit that easily enough. This is a slight hassle in that it's going to be difficult for me to get the Minotaurs where I want, but I think I can get away with it. So the reason I'm going to struggle here is that of the restrictions on placing a charge, one of them is that you'd be able to successfully draw a straight line from the center of your unit to the center of the facing you're charging. So I need to draw a straight line from there to there, which is fine. I was a bit worried the Feral Hounds would get in the way, but I can just spring forward and still cash them there. Obviously, we're well within charge range of the chariot, but never mind, we can stick it in place by intercepting it with the hounds. There we go. So they're going to charge me, but not really. You're going to hit that. And now that you're free, you can hit them in the side as well. Perfect, they've got all flanks on everything. Okay, so who I think needs support? Probably not you. You can crush your way through those easily enough, so I'll start sending these units over here instead. The Minotaurs will likely be fine. This is the one that might survive and be a nuisance and start killing my poor hound, so I'll put you there. And I've got to make a choice for Greater Fury. Now, who wants it? I can make them power 7, which still doesn't matter because the save would be... Well, it would reduce their save from 4+, to 5+, which would help. Otherwise, I'm not concerned. Here, we become power 4, 5, 6, 7, which reduces their save as well. And here, they're already terrible. So the only thing I'd get over there is a bit of re-rolling, which I think you're just going to win that anyway. So let's focus these first. Of those two... I would be more concerned if this holds on, so let's give the dogs a hand. Good, and then, I don't know, just if by some miracle they're still alive, 2 turns from now you can hit them in the side. Here we go, so it's 4 attacks, there's 1 less, so it's only 8 attacks, but I get to reroll. 3 hits is actually 5 hits, and then I have more power, so the saving 5s. Hits back 3 times, killing 2 dogs. Ouch, I'm definitely going to need to heal that unit now. I win and they break. Straight off the field. Feral Giant, hits once, still struggling to land hits. Takes no damage because they can't really hit back and I'm durable as anything. They'll turn and face me. Over here, so equal skill, so 4s but re-rolling. 11 of 12 hits. Oh, they rolled an amazing save, that's really annoying. Hit back twice, so I can't lose a Minotaur. Only take 1 wound. I really want them to break now, it'd be quite a hassle for them to turn around. Oh, that's that remarkable saving throw, they did save them. Okay, I might be about to lose a Minotaur then. There are no charges I want to execute. Otherwise over here we'll have you come around. So because they've now turned, all of their attacks will go into the Minotaurs forward there, so we don't have to worry about that. We can put units into their side without being concerned. Can I get you into the majority flank? Yes, and I can see them, so both hounds will hit that. And then over here, I'm here and get their position to flank that later. Not from there, you won't. I need to get even further this way. Not quite that far, 7.5 maybe? You can do a little bit of, and then back enough to twist and see them. That's still not good enough. I can just about see it. That's about as good as I can do it. I still don't know if it will count. And abilities wise, I'm going to use it on them this time because Frenzy only counts for the first round of combat, so they're not going to get their rerolls anymore. So reroll away. Comes on how to get 4 hits. Wow, look at him go. Squashing, doing amazing damage, taking them back. Okay, now you've won. Double 1 to save. They're going to hold on. Fine. Slowly but surely you lose. Still get our rerolls, which is great, and I've reduced their save because of the extra power. Now they should go away. I will unfortunately lose a Minotaur in recompense. Yeah, I saw that coming. Did just enough to take 1 from me. Wretches. Otherwise, it's nothing to do really. Yes, this is still going on. Now you can flank them. You can't shoot into locked-in combat, so you can't do anything ranged, and you're not going to get over here, so skip the rest of that. All comes down to Ironhide. 2 hits, 1 dead. He takes 4 hits, which is actually 0 because of Putrid Stench. Fantastic. And they're still there. Now they'll be routing this turn. But I'm not going to give them the chance because I'm going to charge and kill them. As revenge for my poor Minotaur. With wild form as well, to add insult to injury. Skip the rest of the phase. He kills 1. And the other one's... Oh no, it's still got a wound. I take no damage. Come on, Mongrel Pack. There you go. Wiped out. Your punishment for your hubris. So yeah, I'm going to have to start healing things now. Okay, so the Minotaurs are leveled, which is great. An extra skill, an extra attack, or loot. So we'll leave the loot there, a damage dealing unit, so we're going to take one of these 2. And of those, being up to skill, so we already re-roll to hit, so skill 4 means we're usually going to be encountering either skill 3 or skill 4 stuff. So if it's skill 3, we're hitting them 3+ already, an extra skill is irrelevant, so it would only matter if we encountered skill 5 stuff, which would improve our hit roll from 4+ to 3+, which would usually be a big deal, because we go from 50% to 66% chance to hit, or 16% increase. However, because we re-roll, we're actually already on 75% chance to hit, whereas if we gave ourselves an extra skill, it would go up to 88, which is only a 13% increase. So because of their frenzy ability, they benefit relatively less than other units would then hitting things. Basically, they're already consistent enough at hitting that you don't really need the extra skill, so extra attack it is, please. I want my Minotaur back, because that being 3 is crucial for damage output. Everyone else, I say everyone else, is 3 dogs really enough? Not really. They're a bit fragile, and I'm not going to be encountering any campsites or anything, so yeah, I'll have myself back to full strength. Yeah, that's fine by me. The Mongrel Pack being a bit low is fine. I don't really use it for damage output, do I? Against another bandit gang. They're going first, so they're going to come forward, and there's a pesky unit of ranged stuff on one of these sides that's going to barrel forward and hit me, so again, I would really like it to shoot the Feral Giant if I had a choice, or this unit, so that's a horribly positioned unit of trees there. I kind of want to get them around and flank whatever comes charging at us, but going to be a bit difficult with that. And maybe the dogs can do it for me, we'll see. Could do it the other way around. I could put them there to come around. I have you on this side and draw them towards me. I'm just trying to be a bit... So I'll explain what I'm doing. If there's a unit here, it will come towards the closest enemy target and shoot me. So I'm thinking about the annoying skirmish calves. So they'll come forward, they'll shoot me, and then they'll try and hit something. So if I position this here and draw them in, they'll come towards me, and then I can get this unit into their flank simultaneously over here, I'm happy for them to come straight towards the Fell Giant and take it on in straight combat, and then you two can spring forward later. Okay, so we get huge bricks of spearmen, unit of handgunners we want to get to quickly. They're already going to start shooting at us, and that light cow I knew was going to be there. So in that case, you just come forward immediately, because we're going to need you. I'm going to wait until they come forward to flank them, so we'll stall with some other units. Like so. Good, okay. What I might do here is I might be a bit clever. I know where they're going to wind up forward here, so I might preempt them by doing this. Just have a look at my charges. Make sure you don't accidentally get into charge range of the spearmen, that would be unfortunate. And just sort of move forward here. So the hope here is that they come far enough forward such that they can't touch me, and I can still catch them in the side with a side charge. So we'll give that a go. It's a bit of an ask, but I think it's worth a try. Forward they come. They did exactly what I wanted them to do. Annoyingly, the target's the Minotaurs in because I put them too far forward, so I take 2 wounds, which sucks, but what else can I do? Right, can I get the dogs up there to hit that annoying unit of handgunners in the back? Or side, rather. Nope, not this turn. If I go any further forward, I will be caught. It's going to be a pain to get to them. I would probably be better off sending you around there. I could actually, what I could do is I could spare the Minotaur unit by sending these into the front, so front and side charge them. They'll all die. I'll lose some mongrel pack in exchange, but I'd rather lose those and heal them than lose the Minotaur. So yeah, that's what I'll do. Shadow bolt them. Okay, still one there. I only get 2 attacks on. Well, do a bit of maths in our heads. Oh no, they're close enough. I have to do this because otherwise they'll charge me directly. So yeah, good decision. Oh, that might be. Oh, that's not. That might still be a front arc. Ooh, this might get a bit ugly on this side. I don't know if I quite got what I wanted out of that positioning. We'll see. Otherwise, yeah, you can just come forward here, hide behind the tree line so the handgunner unit can't shoot you, and then later you can spring forward and get onto it and start killing them. So you'll charge, you'll get out the way, and then I should be able to squeeze through. See how much of a mess I made of this. It is a side charge. Excellent. Okay, good. So they didn't set me back, but oh, I can't reach them. No, I'm out of range. Oh, that's tragic. Oh well. I'm going to lose some Minotaurs. Fine. I'll still win. It's just a bit, unfortunate. Me first. Okay. So I'll just shove you up here to start killing those handgunners. Increasing their power would help, because it would allow them to kill on 6s. Do I really need to bother though? I've got better skill, so 88% of my... No, I'm not. It's a complete waste of the spell. They'll wipe out pretty much the whole unit without any help anyway, so I might as well just start doing damage to the handgunners at range. 2 less shots coming at me. More than worth it. They're going to shoot me. Yeah. Kill a couple mongrel pack. Not exactly the most valuable thing in my army. Right, over here. Can I get you forward far enough to hit that unit of handgunners? Yes, I can. You'll almost certainly be intercepted by those, but if they turn and face me, I can then hit them with another unit. Good. Yeah, they did exactly what I thought they would do. That's a bit silly. So I'll have you... Oh, if I'm cheeky, I might try... I was going to say try hitting them in the rear. There's a tiny gap. You don't have to put your whole unit into the rear arc. If you can just put imagine my block is here. If you can just tip them inside, then that counts. So what I might do is I can put you far enough forward here to be a rear arc charge, like so. It depends on what this unit does. In fact, I don't want them to move, so I'm going to intentionally put my unit in range, because I can then flank them here. So that if they come forward and block me, I can't execute the rear charge. Whereas if I do this, I can. Careful though, there's one other thing you need to remember. Draw a straight line from the centre of your unit to the centre of the enemy facing. So there to about there-ish. I might get blocked by that annoying unit. So I've got a little bit of leeway here. In fact, I've got a lot of leeway, so there's no need to make it so arduous for myself. Let's do this. Definitely still just a bit further up here. I'm going to be definitely in rear arc, and can I do this? I think that's a safe draw there. Yes, so as long as they don't move, we're okay. They did inch forward, which is fine. I won't stop anything, so you can come up here and deal with them for me. Good. Okay, let's see you kill a Minotaur. we hit 14 of 15 times, killing the whole unit. Well, as long as I don't lose... Okay, I almost lost 2, which would have been particularly tragic. But no, just the 1. My turn. So they're going to hit me there. I'm gonna now, crucial, you can only do an intercept charge once per turn. So if I did this, if I intercepted that one, what would happen is they would declare a charge against me, which they can do because you're allowed to stop an intercept from the front if you're closer to the enemy unit. So obviously this green line is shorter than that green line. So I'll charge there, they would then charge me. I would intercept them with the feral giant, which kills their charge, which is fine. But then I'll find I won't be able to do that again, because you can only intercept once per turn. So crucial that you first lock this unit in place and then intercept that unit, which is somehow going to pop through to that side. Now that I'm free, I can hit that unit handgunners, and all is right in the world. Okay, you want to go phase through the enemy unit and get to that. I'd assume you would have clipped there, but that side is fine too. No more fighting for the Minotaurs, they're all spent, so we'll just have you come forward. And of these, I desperately don't want that unit of spearmen to turn around, so I'll Greater Fury the Night Fangs. And I don't know, just in case they do, you can come over here and start lending a hand. Okay, so Ironhide has better skill than the enemy now, so hitting on 3s. And then, yeah, great strength. So step on 2 spearmen, they get 4 attacks back, which results in 1 hit, resulting in 0 wounds. Now, even though I did a lot, they have a lot of ranks, so their good discipline's actually pretty amazing. It's going to take a while to be rid of them. Over here, we get 10 attacks but re-rolling, 5 hits, which is 7, and then I've got good power now because of Greater Fury, so 5 casualties, which is good. That is enough to break them, good news. Over here, the dogs eat 3 handgunners and take nothing in exchange, breaking the unit. Off the field they go. Okay, what do I want to do? I probably want to send the Minotaurs into their back. They can't hit me, which is good, and it's a lot of damage output to hopefully break them and collapse them. I'll ignore this unit for now. It might just keep running, so we'll just let them kind of reveal what they're going to be doing. They rally, fine. Okay, we're in a good position to counter it, so you can hit them in the back. Do I want to hit them in the side with the Shaman and Mongrel pack, or this unit? Probably this one, because I don't want to take casualties on the dogs unnecessarily. Get out of the way. Instead, you come forward. Hit them in the side. Do I want to use any of my fancy reroll stuff here? Probably not. That's enough damage output to just kill them anyway, so I'll save it for when I charge into this one. Let's just shoot them first then. Worst case scenario is I take a few wounds on the giant, but I'll regenerate 1 anyway, so I'll be almost full HP. 3 hits again, squashing another 2, how consistent. Now, they get to fight in 3 ranks because they're spearmen. Ordinarily, you're capped out at 2, but spear and shield has that special property of extra rank supporting attacks. So 1, 2, 3. They get 15 attacks, which is still only 6 hits because of my putrid stench, resulting in 2 wounds. Fine, I'll heal 1 and be at 7 of 8. Minotaurs go. 10 of 10 hits. Fantastic, guys. Killing 8 of them. An absolute blender of a unit. Can't roll a 0 on 2 dice, so bye-bye. You can obviously hit this one in the back. What I might do, I'm briefly considering not charging him into the side. If I use Greater Fury on this unit and have them do a load of damage, they may just run away anyway. It's unlikely. I don't think I can get them down to routing this turn without doing this, so I will take the side charge. Yes, it means I might lose 1 or 2 Mongrel pack, but oh, I can't fit, and the charge didn't happen because I can't squeeze in somehow. Okay, I'll take your word for it, game. Greater Fury that unit for me. In case they're still holding on, let's have the giant come around and flank them. You're not going to do anything, and then you can maybe get in the position to rear arc them. Oh, it's this rock. Impassable terrain. I see what's going on. Yeah, I can't do anything with that in the way. Lucky you, Spearman. I'm hoping Greater Fury is enough to get me over this, so 4s, but re-rolling, and then 6s because of power 7 hounds, some very, very strong dogs. They break anyway, great. So it turned out to be the right decision. I didn't have to risk taking any casualties in the Mongrel pack, they'll just all die anyway. Reach levels, bits of healing to do. Yep, 7 of 8, more than fine there. I want my Minotaur back. Night Fangs have leveled again. I'm going to take the skill this time because skill 3 to 4 is great. Helps them hit things more consistently. The Frost Claws have leveled, and they're in the exact same position. Might as well. And the Feral Giant as well. I don't care about Discipline or Replenishment, you're honestly fine. So you take Looter basically every time, so that will generate a lot of gold over the course of the campaign, so you may as well. You're fine. Yeah, the heal's 3 to 4 anyway, so even if you're reduced to nothing, you'll get 1 wound back anyway, and then be 4 or 5, which is more than good enough to be a viable unit, so gold. The Feral Pack being at 10 obviously isn't great for damage output, but that's not what they're there for, so just take the extra cash. Yeah, lots of in hand, which is excellent. I think we'll leave that there. Thank you very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. If so, please do like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel, and I do appreciate it. If you have any notes on the SOVL run or ideas for thematic-based SOVL runs that you'd like to see, then please, by all means, do let me know. I'm more than happy to take feedback on board. Or if you just want to chat, that's fine too. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time.